So apparently a lot of Xbox fans are feeling a bit lied to and betrayed, me not included, spoilers, and I thought it'd be interesting to kind of dive into why that is, because it essentially has to deal with the fact that Starfield is no longer going to be in that 12-month window that Xbox promised last year in their game showcase. And Starfield is one of the most anticipated games of the year, so that's why, you know, people are kind of just focusing on this one, and for good reason. But does it really screw up the plan that they set? And is this going to affect their new potential model of 12-month windows? There's kind of some stuff to dive into here. And first, let's just top off with the Starfield release date, which, by the way, Samurai Kibiji here. I like to speculate games with you and fill that void if you have people, you know, you can't really talk to about this. So drop thoughts in the comments. But and it's going to be back, by the way. I had a good trip. But yeah, Starfield's coming out in September 6th of 2023. That date is fine. To kind of cut to the chase. Now, obviously, you know, you might disagree. There's going to be folks that disagree with that because we had the promise that Starfield was going to come out before June or by the end of June at the latest, probably. And I had a predictions video saying I thought that it would be in July. Turns out that was wrong. And here's the thing about even if Starfield came out, let's say in June, that is the most packed month of releases I think I have seen in many years. That is a month that Diablo 4 is coming out, that Street Fighter 6 is coming out, that Final Fantasy 16 is coming out. Franchises that have been super well established for maybe more than 2 decades. I need to fact check the timeline there, but they are well-established franchises that are coming out all throughout in June, kind of all at once. And then the other most anticipated game of the year between Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom, that's coming out the month before. So that tail end of that 12-month window that Starfield most likely would have come out is already busy as hell. And there is a lot relying on Starfield to like really, even though, in my opinion, there isn't a need for this, but I know for many there is, to really be that game that Xbox has that is not only a Game of the Year contender, but it's like, damn, this is like more than a 9 out of 10 game. It's the next big work from Todd Howard. It's following up Skyrim and Fallout and just, yeah. There's a lot relying on Starfield, and who knows, they might not even got this delay without Microsoft's backing. The previous Bethesda might have put this thing out, you know, before they became a Microsoft first-party studio because they didn't really have the means to keep polishing it and developing it. And then in the new trailer we saw, it looks like they finally got 60 frames, which is great as an option. That's the date. But the problem, people have issues about, you know, breaking the 12-month window promise. So is Xbox going to continue doing that? First, we do know that there is going to be a Starfield Direct on June 11th, 2023, which is a Sunday. And we really thought that that Direct might be a bit more imminent, and it's not. And that'll be a Direct, you know, that actually solves a concern that me and others had, because it's like, wait a minute, are they going to do this Direct? And then the summer showcase is going to be like the general Xbox one that we get every summer. That's usually in June. Are they going to pull like a 2020 since they're not in E3 and they're going to have it in July? And maybe that's to stall for this Activision Blizzard case to close. But then that's me overanalyzing. And actually, no, was totally wrong. The Starfield Direct follows the general Xbox showcase. I didn't know this until like just before recording this video, so I'm glad I fact checked that. But yeah, like the Xbox General Showcase is going to be just before this Starfield devoted one. Very much like the Developer Direct was in January, you know, where we focused on a few games and then they had an ESO deep dive afterwards. It seems like very similar model, but you know, the Summer Showcase is going to be a lot busier than that Developer Direct. So the question is, that I would like to have discussions with you in the comments. Does Xbox abandon that 12-month model? And should they? And did they really break a lot of promises that they had? First point, most of the games that were announced in that summer showcase, and I'm saying this not as like, because I am an Xbox fan, but I'm saying this just objectively, most of the games in that 12-month model have either been released or have release dates that do fall in that window still. Now, there's a good deal of things we're waiting on. Hollow Knight, Silksong, Stalker 2 replaced, and Starfield is now outside of that range. Arc 2, we still don't know when it's coming out. There's still a good deal of things in that back half of that window we're waiting on. But majority of the things in that showcase did fall in that 12-month window. And there's pros and cons of having a showcase like that. Being the pro is you get a sense of the immediate future, which is a big narrative. Another one that Xbox has had against it the past year or two is nothing's coming out in the immediate future. And having a timeline like that gives people a sense of, yeah, this is why I'm subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, right? These are games which they're not all going to be Xbox Game Pass games, but, you know, majority of them. And it gives them a sense of, this is why I'm subscribed to that, and this is why it's going to be worth it. The negative is that we don't get any hype, like in development reveals kind of a thing. We're most likely not going to see the announcement of Gears 6 in this coming summer showcase because of that model of the 12-month window. And it makes us also, you know, get this sense of certain things aren't close because they weren't in the show. It's really a double-edged sword. I personally think that they can continue on with that model because, again, the majority of the things have come out. It does give you that sense of the immediate future. And especially when the ABK deal closes, it's kind of like, how could there not be 6 or more first-party releases to spread out? And that's the big thing about the Starfield delay. People aren't happy whenever a game gets more than one delay. Delays are great. It polishes the game. And again, they probably couldn't have done this without being a Microsoft first-party studio. But the other thing about delays is it gives the people a sense of something's wrong. But this delay in particular does help spread out the releases that should have been out. A lot of the things in the back half of this year were projected to be kind of last year, you know, Redfall and Starfield as examples. And we still don't have a date for Forza Motorsport. But just hypothetically, you know, first party, Minecraft Legends comes out in April. Redfall comes out in May. We had Hi-Fi Rush earlier on this year in January. And imagine if Forza comes out in June, you know, just hypothetically. Maybe it gets pushed to July. And Starfield comes out in September. And they do that to kind of spread out these first-party releases in the year. And hopefully there's something in November, i.e. Hellblade 2. And Halo Infinite just had its 3rd season, and they're going to have their 4th season in June, which seems like they're building up. You know, there's things going on throughout the year, and I think that's what they need to focus on. But maybe you disagree. If you want some thoughts about Halo Infinite's 3rd season, you could check out my reaction to the side, as well as a potential comment video that you can subscribe to catch that has to do with why PlayStation and Xbox market differently. But I post these videos to talk with you in the comments and speculate with you. So drop a comment on your thoughts on the Starfield delay and if Xbox should continue that 12-month model.